you said it's not that you don't need other people. And what I really feel inside is that in order to be there or be in healthy relationships with others or things such as religion, we have to first know who we are. We first
Exactly.
have to have that healthy relationship within. And you brought that out so perfectly. I couldn't have done it better myself. But let's talk about this video. Let's go back to this video because you know this video, right? You were lied to as a child. You know, the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I love that video so much is because of all of the videos I watched from you. This is where I saw the most passion. There was times in this video that I had to say, did he just say that? Put the video on pause, went back, replay it, and said, oh, yes, he did. There was definitely passion fueling that video. What makes you so passionate about the topic of codependency?
For me, it's just seeing so many people misunderstand it and then label people it. It's like the same thing with the term narcissist, how everything is like everyone runs to that. So like I see people telling people that you're being codependent, you're this and this, and it's like no, they're programmed. They're just doing what they've been programmed to do. Like they don't know any better. So they're not necessarily making a codependent choice. They're just doing what they think is gender roles. Like they're not even understanding what dynamic they're actually getting into. So it's really the misunderstanding of it at this time that has me so passionate about it because it's like collective themes that I always see like from time to time that pop up, and I'm like, I definitely have to talk about this because it's floating around in the ether, you know. So I always like to check in, I like to call it, with the collective and see what's actually going on in the field. What's the mental aspect, because mental health is so important right now, and like people feeling like they're being judged or they're doing their actions are wrong when it's just being shown from a face value aspect of it, but not necessarily from a systemic reasoning and why this is like this and why this is like that. And then you will see, oh no, they're programmed to be this way, which is codependent, but not necessarily in a way that's like, oh no, that person is definitely aware that they're in a codependent state and that that's not healthy. These people think they're just living their life, so they're not even realizing the um, dynamics that they're creating, that they're passing on generation after generation after generation. That's takes away from your sovereign state when you're in partnership, and then also you know how you feel when you're in those states. So that's really where my passion came from.
I heard you mention that word program, and that's one of the words I talk about a lot here on the Manifest on Purpose show. For those who may not understand, tell us about what a program is and what role it plays in codependency.
Great question, because I love this topic. As I said, I work with the mental health field, and this is one of the things I love to break down is paradigms. And I've been studying paradigms for the last 8, 9 years and understanding as I broke my own paradigms down, how to actually do it and what the programming is. So it's a good saying that, you know, your whatever you think about becomes your actions. And then whatever you start to do and act repetitively now becomes your personality. Now that becomes traits that are now you. So when you have thoughts or you're programmed to have thoughts repetitively for uh, years, and not even, it doesn't even take that many years. It takes actually 90 days for a new program to actually be installed, but it's consistent 90 days of that repetitive thought for it to actually sink in and now become a part of the program, and which now creates the action that is now subconsciously programmed that you should now do this every day. So, you know, when you wake up to go to the gym the first day, and you're like, oh man, I gotta get up to go to the gym, and you're like, when you stay consistent with that schedule, it becomes less of a drag because now it's a norm to you. Now your body's used to it. Now your mind is used to it because you program yourself into it. So with the mind, with the brain itself, the brain is just a supercomputer. So like when you upload any type of disk back in the days, when you slide it into the computer and it's a game or a program that you're uploading, like Windows or Microsoft Word or something like that. When you are installing that disk, it's the same thing as your brain. When you're installing those thoughts, you're programming your brain to operate in a certain way. When it gets used to that operating system, now it's those thoughts and those actions now move to the subconscious aspect of it, and now it becomes second nature. It becomes muscle memory that we talk about when we play sports. So when you're programming your mind in those simple ways, you can deprogram from the things that you've been taught that are not necessarily true or actually in alignment with who you truly are as a being. So those self-checks and those relearning and reprogramming, you have to regularly do that, especially when you start to become more conscious of um, you're more conscious of yourself in terms of the things that you feel, the things that you think, the things that you know, from an internal space and not necessarily from things that you've been taught, things that you've been, but just an internal space. And then you weigh the things that you've been taught with that internal gauge to see the things that you need to break down that's not really you, that just served you when you were 17, but now you're 35 and it's really not. So you have to consciously go in and create those new patterns by repetition, and that's why repetition is so important. And I can't stress that enough.